If the lines are cleared out, the most mesmerizing star I recognize is the star that could be perplexing in our sky. Is this one scarab juice or scarab pulverize? It's a red, very monstrous star. In addition to the hazy possibility that you put it in the sun's direction, it would extend all the way to the orbit of Jupiter. It is enormous in every way, unpredictable, and going to explode. It's not as obvious as it seems in the universe's Goliath-like events. Like most, we irrationally fear gigantic starbursts could shake all that we see. Regardless, do whatever it takes. Betelgeuse requires no introduction. Its middle has been interpreted as a red, extremely Goliath star, which is typically more significant than our sun. Brian Cox and other specialists in space believe it could go supernova, which has made people frightened about what will occur next. The James Webb Space Telescope is taking shocking images of the rising star. The question of when Betelgeuse will become a supernova and what impact it will have on Earth is like the Titanic. Let's get the star in the right place. Orion's magnificent body shines so amazingly that even people from long ago have seen it. The magnificent Betelgeuse is a star located on the eastern shoulder of the constellation Orion. It is the second largest star in the group of stars. The monster shoulder comes from this feature. It is potentially one of the most dazzling stars atop the night sky because it is so bright. The star is also a strange red that, as we will see, suggests trouble. We've had some tremendous experience with Betelgeuse for quite a while. A Greek observer named Ptolemy also focused on it around that time. The first impression that people had of its color was that of stars. And I said that in modern times, it was an orange-colored star. Experts have been concentrating on the star more eagerly, and now they have an excellent concept of what makes it so enigmatic. One of these characteristics is that the star changes brightness a lot, with a distinct magnitude of 0.6. Betelgeuse is a variable star, which signifies that its brightness varies throughout time. Recently, specialists have found some brand new details about the star. In 2019, experts were the first to see that Betelgeuse was acting strangely. Despite Betelgeuse's failure to stop shining, it was no longer the same. It became significantly less luminous. At an amount of 1.6, specialists quickly began to investigate why they were seeing this. How the 10th most brilliant star acts in a capricious manner. Researchers expected to offer an astounding explanation. In light of their investigation, which revealed unusual signs from the star, according to their discoveries, Betelgeuse may supernova at any moment. Brian Cox, a well-known scientist, shared this unexpectedly risky explanation as a distinguished professor of particle physics at the University of Manchester. You should not disregard his viewpoint as a joke. He also produces a science show, popular science books, and is the Royal Public Engagement Professor for the Society with Science. Brian Cox says that Betelgeuse is, by all appearances, a ticking time bomb, because it could go off to destroy what is without warning. Putting the James Webb Space Telescope into operation has presented a staggering amount of evidence to substantiate this expectation. But what whimsical signs has Betelgeuse displayed that have caused so much concern in space science? With the brand new data about the star, it has been given the title of a supernova candidate. Despite the fact that analysts do not yet know when it will make known that Betelgeuse is twice the mass of the Sun, this is one reason behind this. Classification. A star, as it has been suggested, should be a few times the Sun's mass, which is known as a supernova. Things get truly interesting because analysts have utilized different instruments to research Betelgeuse. For example, the James Webb Space Telescope and the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory to see what's going on in space all around. What they discovered is still a Betelgeuse mystery. It was born on August 31st, a long time ago. Roughly at that point, the star Betelgeuse clearly offered odd hints that made its future uncertain. What did they find? Well, they could detect curious waves of light emanating from the star Betelgeuse, which is extremely intriguing. However, experts weren't the only ones who observed this from the star. This takes us back to the possibility that Betelgeuse is a star whose brightness fluctuates constantly. It was occasionally mentioned that alarming Betelgeuse gradually became darker at intervals and exhibited dark spots. Similar to our current sun, despite the circumstances being distinct, ranging from bright to dim, it moves twice as quickly as before, which is another indicator. It has returned to an amazing piece of evidence that experts discovered. A band of the star's dimming cycle had reached a quality of 1.61 in February 2021. This was not long after the gigantic darkening event. Review how the star appeared to fade in a bizarre manner in 2019. That's because it's now known as the remarkable darkening that we could see. The remarkable deterioration was the start of Betelgeuse's unusual behavior, resulting in widespread concern that Betelgeuse was going to explode. The range of darkening between 2019 and 2020, when the lowest level of dimming ever recorded was in 2019, was such that experts were confident that Betelgeuse would explode in space in the next 100,000 years. In view of the extraordinary darkening, there is fragmentation in the universe as a result. This is truly surprising. Analysts quickly changed their perspectives. Nevertheless, when they saw what transpired next, Betelgeuse got brighter again. After the incredible dimming, and it changed into something significantly striking. Andrea Dupree, an astrophysicist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, says that the star is now 150% brighter than normal, the seventh brightest star in the sky. Specialists were panicked when they saw a red glow in the southern part of the sky. Today, it still gets more interesting, because this has led to different considerations about what caused the incredible darkening. First, it's important to note that not all stars have Betelgeuse's red glow. The red glow of Betelgeuse means that it's a red supergiant star, which is the last phase of a star's life and death. The red glow, on the other hand, is caused by a surface temperature of around 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit or Kelvin, which is significantly cooler than the outer layer of the Sun, which is 5,500 Kelvin. Due to Betelgeuse's cooler temperature than our Sun, it produces less heat per unit surface area. It's always greater than less massive, and will detonate. Now, let's look at how the incredible darkening appeared. Like Brian Cox asks, what exactly does it mean that Betelgeuse will go? Supernova? As a rule, the fact that Betelgeuse is a red supergiant already demonstrates that it is near the end of its life as a star. A dying star will also frequently deteriorate over time, which is something specialists understand. However, Betelgeuse's new amazing behavior has made experts focus more intensely. Furthermore, numerous telescopes are currently concentrating on the remarkable darkening. Still, things get much more interesting because experts lack a substantial understanding of Betelgeuse. Scientists are now using the most cutting-edge tools to keep an eye on the captivating things happening around Betelgeuse. The James Webb Space Telescope is one of the best instruments currently in use by analysts. Since 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope has traveled to space and helped analysts collect numerous important pieces of information about Betelgeuse. The new images of Betelgeuse's incredible darkening from this telescope have demonstrated that the event had a significant mass release. We now know that this mass launch was around 400 times larger than a typical coronal mass ejection. The James Webb Space Telescope can also look at things our eyes can't see, like light waves and frequencies. In this way, scientists are enthusiastic about the discoveries. Telescopes have revealed that researchers have observed dust clouds appearing on the surface of the star, resembling space leaves that don't seem to make sense. In spite of the fact that Betelgeuse will perish, specialists continue to pay attention to it because they are unsure of when it will explode. According to scientists, Betelgeuse is usually more massive than the Sun, and the brilliant red star will shine for 10 years to come. However, if we examine the numerous distinct events happening with the star, it's hard to determine whether this assertion will still hold true after the incredible dimming. Experts do not anticipate Betelgeuse exploding in the near future. Betelgeuse detonates. It will be the first supernova we have observed for ourselves since Johannes Kepler. Experts, including Kepler, did not believe that this should occur quickly because they are still focusing on the star's rare behavior. Despite the fact that Betelgeuse will inspire scientists, when exactly it will happen remains a secret. If we view the universe without bias, Betelgeuse is very likely one of the stars with the most charisma. Perhaps the most surprising feature of our sky, Betelgeuse is frequently mentioned. This red beast star, if placed where the Sun is, would stretch out to Jupiter's orbit. This staggeringly huge star affects the universe, though it doesn't work in such direct terms. Unusual, grandiose events like cosmic explosions have the potential to completely perturb our perspective on an event that may likely occur.
But
Possibility of Betelgeuse going supernova looms. Researchers are still attempting to determine the exact course of events for its end. While data is still gathered by analysts from the most advanced space telescopes, such as the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope, they are cautious when making predictions about an impending blast. Despite the star's unexpected behavior, including the baffling dimming and brightening cycles, there is no guarantee of when Betelgeuse will eventually come to an end. Some believe it could still require a huge number of years before the star bursts into flame, but others believe it might happen much earlier, perhaps within the next few years or even months. Extraordinary data gathered by these massive telescopes, along with the star's whimsical behavior, has created anxiety for researchers. They are paying close attention to what is going on, making use of every tool in their arsenal to detect any subtle alterations that might indicate a supernova is approaching. When Betelgeuse does finally detonate, it will send shock waves through the universe, releasing a massive amount of energy. The explosion will briefly outshine the entire galaxy, visible even from Earth as bright as the full moon. While this event will be a magnificent cosmic display, it won't pose an immediate danger to Earth because the star is situated over 600 light-years away. However, the supernova will provide a significant chance for researchers to examine the final stages of a large star's life and the phenomena that accompany such a violent event. Betelgeuse's impending end isn't just of scientific interest, serves as a reminder of how vast and bizarre the stars of the universe are. Stars like Betelgeuse play a vital role in the life cycle of galaxies, enriching the universe with the elements necessary for planets, new stars, and possibly life. Death of such a star is not an end, but rather a transformation, as it releases hefty substances that eventually seed new stellar systems. In the interim, researchers continue to take note of Betelgeuse's actions, deciphering the mystery surrounding its future. With each new discovery, the mystery grows, and our understanding of the universe expands. Perhaps we will soon witness one of the most remarkable events in the universe, Betelgeuse's transformation from a monstrous red supergiant into a stunning supernova. Until then, the sky will remain a blank canvas of wonder, with Betelgeuse shining brightly, a sign of the fleeting nature of universal life. As we continue to monitor the mystery of Betelgeuse, space widens around its fate. Scientists are especially focused on the fact that this star is approaching the end of its life cycle, and its irregular behavior is generating a lot of interest. It is important to remember that supernovae are not the last stage for all stars. For instance, smaller stars, like our Sun, will end their lives with much less drama, shedding their outermost layers and leaving behind a white dwarf. But Betelgeuse is a massive red supergiant, which means that when it dies, it will go out with a grand bang, very different from the gradual dimming of smaller stars. The sheer size of Betelgeuse makes it an interesting subject for study, a radius multiple times larger than the Sun. If it were placed at the center of our solar system, it would extend beyond the orbit of Mars. This gives a sense of how big it is in comparison to the Sun, which is already a giant by the standards. Of the majority of stars, the size of Betelgeuse indicates that it has consumed immense amounts of fuel throughout its life. As it approaches the end of its life, its core is rapidly collapsing under the force of gravity. This collapse is what eventually triggers the violent process of a supernova explosion. The process of Betelgeuse's explosion is complex as it nears supernova status. The star's core is beginning to shrink and heat up, while its outer layers expand and cool. This creates an unstable environment with periodic fluctuations in brightness. These brightness shifts, like the dimming event observed in 2019, are signs that the star is entering a period of rapid change. This darkening might be linked to an outpouring of material from the surface of the star that temporarily obscures its light. These fluctuations mean Betelgeuse continues to emit light, but erratically, making it a fascinating object to study. The potential for Betelgeuse to be a contender for a nearby supernova has drawn the attention of space. Agencies and researchers worldwide who have access to current instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope and the Hubble Space Telescope. Researchers are accumulating a wealth of data on the star. These telescopes allow us to keep an eye on Betelgeuse in frequencies that were once out of reach, such as ultraviolet and infrared light, providing insights into the star's internal processes. Additionally, researchers are using advanced models to simulate the behavior of massive stars like Betelgeuse. These models help scientists predict the star's future behavior and estimate the timeline for when it will explode, while the exact timing of Betelgeuse's supernova remains uncertain. The current data implies that it might occur sooner rather than later. Some predictions suggest that the explosion might happen within the next few years, while others imagine that it might take a few thousand years. Irrespective of the timeline, the imminent demise of Betelgeuse will undoubtedly be a landmark event in the study of stellar evolution. Even though Betelgeuse's explosion won't pose an immediate threat to Earth, researchers will still have a valuable opportunity to study the final moments in the life of a huge star. By witnessing this event, astronomers will gain a deeper comprehension of what happens when massive stars die and go supernova. The remnants of the explosion will provide new elements and materials that will add value to the interstellar medium, playing a role in the creation of new planets and stars. In conclusion, Betelgeuse is not just a star that is vanishing. It is a cosmic clock ticking down to a spectacular event. As scientists continue to observe this giant of the night sky, we are reminded of the universe's wonders and the delicate equilibrium that controls the life of stars. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or thousands of years from now, when Betelgeuse reaches its final stage, it will leave behind a legacy that shapes the cosmos for billions of years to come.